Hey there, happy day 21 of our Get Up and Go Challenge. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, and we are going to talk about the O relationships, the O in our SOAP framework. Now, to introduce our tool today, I used one of those filters that erases my wrinkles. I'm not sure if it makes me feel creepy or not, but it helps me visualize what I would look like if I went and got a facelift or if I went and got Botox or something. It's a tool for visualization. So there's filters and there's all kinds of apps and tools and things we can use to help us imagine what our future might be like. Now we're going to use that for our O in SOAP because the O in SOAP framework stands for options, possibilities, alternatives, ideas, infinite possibilities, right? We don't always, but we tend to think that there's only a few options whenever we're faced with a change or a challenge or a choice. But what we need to remind ourselves is there are so many other possibilities, things that we can't really even imagine or think about until we open our minds and open our eyes and look around for different options. So today we are going to imagine our perfect relationship, the perfect outcome. We're going to focus a lot on where we want to be today and get really clear on that versus where we are. I think that the story, the situation, we identify both, but we tend to, as human nature, focus on what's going on right now. And usually what's wrong with right now and what do we dislike about it. Guess what? If we continue to focus in that direction, we will stay right where we are and we'll continue to get what we've always gotten. And that's why I love when we get to the O, the options, the possibility part of the SOAP framework, that we really hone in on and have tools and strategies to not only brainstorm options and possibilities, but to open up our minds and our belief that other things are actually out there for us to pick and choose from. So one of the strategies, there's lots of different, you can Google if you're not a visualizer or an imagination or a future paced person, you can Google and you get all kinds of detailed procedures on how to do this. But one of my favorite ways, and I don't even know if it's out there anywhere. I learned it from one of my mentors, one of my coaches, Jim Edwards, and he calls it the Power Vision movie. And what you do is you actually imagine yourself as if you're in a movie, the starring role, so you can really tap into the feelings and the experience of being in that situation. So he always gives the example of, hey, you want a new car. So you actually imagine yourself driving that car. What does it feel like to drive that car? And you use all your senses. What does it feel like? What does it smell like? What are you seeing? What are you hearing? What are you doing as you're shifting the gears or whatever? Because some of us still know how to drive a stick shift. But you actually put yourself in that movie. So, for example, I'm working on relationships for the SOAP framework this time, my relationships specifically with my children. And so I'm going to think of and then put myself in the perfect scenarios. What do I want the perfect relationship with my kids to be like? And I'm going to put myself in and visualize with as many senses as I possibly can that perfect situation. So I'll let you in on a little secret. My kids hate Christmas, and it breaks my heart because Christmas is literally my favorite holiday, my favorite time of year. I've always loved Christmas as a little girl, as an adult, and I did everything in my power when the kids were little and I was married to my ex-husband to make it a perfect, wonderful day for them. And it would inevitably blow up, and my ex and I would end up fighting because we had such different views on what Christmas should look like for our families and for our kids, and we never found a way to meet in the middle on that. So I would overdo it in his opinion. He would always underdo it in my opinion, and that would lead us to getting our tinsel in a tangle, having challenges, and usually ended up in an argument. And often the ex would not even come to my family Christmas with my side of the family, and it was like years of that. And that type of scenario running over and over again, it led my kids to hate Christmas. So I like to visualize what is and what in my mind, and I'm going to put myself in a movie and think about what would be the perfect Christmas with my kids and with their kids now. My daughter's pregnant, she's due in February, so she's going to have a daughter soon. And what would the perfect Christmas look like with my son and his daughter, who's now 5? And I want to make sure that everybody starts to really love and enjoy Christmas again. Now, it's just my desire. Maybe they don't want to, maybe they're going to never love Christmas, but in my fantasy, in my visualization, in my imagination, I'm going to play out the perfect Christmas. I'm going to play out where we're celebrating, what we're doing, what we're eating, what we're smelling, what we're tasting, what we're hearing, the conversations we're having, the music or the movie or whatever might be in the background that we're listening to, the games we're playing, the meal that we're enjoying together. And I'm going to play that out with me in that movie so I can feel and experience what that ideal situation, that future pace feels like for my family and I. I can do that with a couple of other scenarios. I could do it with, one other idea I had was visualizing having a conversation with either of my kids. And I mentioned, I think that they say I solve too many problems. They want to just vent to me sometimes. We could create a stop word or a phrase or initials or some funny trigger to cause me to just stop and listen and let them vent. My son will tell me sometimes, he'll be like, Mom, I just want to vent. And then he'll talk. And I'm better at listening when he does that. And I don't jump right to solutions for them, for my kids. So maybe we could have a word like, or initials like STFU, meaning Mom, shut up. Or they could just do that, or they could pretend they're pressing a remote control for me to stop talking and just listen to them and let them get it all out of their system, things like that. Or, I could imagine us going to a family counselor or something. Now, I'm gonna tell you right now, my kids are awesome. I love them, they love me. We don't need family counseling, but that could be an option because everything is on the table when we're considering the options and the O in our SOAP framework. Anything is possible. And maybe we would go to a counseling session and we'd have this great experience. If I'm going to imagine this and visualize it, I'm going to have us going and have this incredible experience and breakthrough and letting go of all the nonsense and the things that we didn't like in the past so we can experience perfect, no relationships are perfect, don't get me wrong. Human beings are infinitely, we're not perfect, we're just human. So, but I'm going to play out a couple of those scenarios and visualize the exact perfect end result I want. And that'll help me see other options and possibilities where I can take baby steps or giant steps. And sometimes baby steps lead to giant results if we're willing to take them. And I'm focusing on my role in the relationship, any relationship, whatever relationship you happen to be working on or choosing this time through the SOAP framework. I say, I'm going to imagine my ideal or perfect relationship with blank. And so for me, I'll plug in each of my kids' names or my kids' names, and I'll run that perfect scenario in my mind. What does that look like for me? Well, as I'm looking at that perfect scenario, what can I do to set that up and to make that become a reality? Instead of saying, oh, well, if they only change, then everything would be okay. If I would have said, if my ex-husband would just change, which I probably did, then we'll be okay. But I also learned early on that it was up to me to do 100% of what I could do and put forth the effort. And you always have to have, with relationships, the other people be willing to do that as well, or to meet you somewhere in the spectrum of interpersonal relationships. So our challenge today is to actually do this. Try this on yourself. Put yourself in the movie, in the scene, and notice how much more powerful it is. Notice that because we want to tap into our feelings. We want to get more clear on what we want our desired outcome to be and look like and feel like and taste like and smell. And if we touch, what are the things, what are we doing? But not only just what we're sensing, but how it's making us feel, because that's the thing that really adds the power behind us moving toward our future. So that is our O today. Share in the comments below 3 possible visualizations you could do. You don't have to do them all. Say if you find one and one just says, like the perfect Christmas one just popped for me. I'm like, that's the one I'm going to do. And I'm going to probably do that several times today as I go throughout my day. Maybe as I'm wrapping Christmas presents and things like that, I'll think about that and I'll visualize that and I'll put myself in that movie and feel the feelings that I feel by experiencing that. But pick one. Share 3 possible scenes you could do. I'm going to share perfect Christmas, kids, a stop me word so that I stop talking and listen more, and then a family counseling session. Not because I'm ever going to go to family counseling. Again, it doesn't have to be something you're going to do for sure, but there's power in visualizing that and how that might play out. All right, any questions? Hit me up in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow for day 22 already of our Get Up and Go Challenge, learning the SOAP framework and installing that in our life so that we're guaranteed to have better results after we're faced with any change or challenge than before. Have a great day.